Okay, question is what step can I take to live more sustainability? Sustainably. Okay, yeah, it's very hard to pronounce this as sustainably, sustain. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So what is exactly this sustainability? Yeah, probably I'm okay. Yeah, what is exactly sustainability? Okay, yeah. How do I supposed to live more as a sustainability? All right, sustainability. Sorry about the pronunciation, but okay, let's move forward. Okay, sustainability means like that the things that you do without harming the environment. Okay, without harming any kind of, without creating any kind of like something pollution, without creating nothing really at all. Just make it something like a do something your stuff without creating any pollution or any kind of like a something environmental impact on the planet or things like that. Okay, yeah. So how do I supposed to do that? Okay, yeah. Like basically this thing, the question is actually asked to you that how do you supposed to like basically what step could you do to be kind of like a simply be responsible for the environment, what kind of like a something stuff. All right, yeah. First of all, let's just explain this kind of like somebody understands this point of perspective. Okay, yeah. I am not any kind of like a somebody person who is kind of like a somebody do some sort of thing that does impact on the environmental thing. No, I am kind of like somebody a normal citizen with just normal thing. Okay, yeah, nothing really at all. Okay, yeah. But that is the most important thing. Okay, yeah. Because of that, key like basically is this thing we always kind of like something have mentality regarding about like basically I'm talking about Indian point of perspective. Okay, yeah. We have that kind of like something Indian mentality that key okay, let's just figure it out with the example. All right, yeah. So have you throw your kind of like a something like a kuda kachara, okay, at somewhere and something, okay, yeah, or you burn something or you throw out your kind of like a something that dust or kind of like a something, what is at least this thing, like basically kuda kachara, yeah, you don't, you know that it's not really that hard to dust, and no, not dust is like what is the actually word for kachara? Okay, wait, let me google it. Okay, yeah, I just forgot that word, dude. Like okay, uh kachra, CATCHRA, kachra in English. Okay, yeah. um Garbage. Oh, sorry, garbage. Fuck, I forgot the name. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, whatever the garbage that you have at your home, you just throw at somewhere and somewhere. Okay, yeah. This is actually very common in India, by the way. All right, yeah. I also give you another example is that key, like when you buy some sort of like a processed food of packet. Okay, yeah, you ate that thing like a chips and something like that, and you throw that packet into somewhere something like, yeah. So basically it kind of like a something, this plastic is a kind of like a something not really good. Okay, first of all, that plastic is not decompose, it takes kind of like something year to decompose. Another thing is that it kind of like a something diminish the look of the environment. Like just example is that there are a lot of like a garbages at there, it doesn't really look nice, it doesn't really look clean. Okay, yeah. Also another example is that ki when you went to the beach or somewhere else, you just kind of like a something, whatever the food that you bring, you just ate and you just kind of like a throw it at the beach, which is kind of like a something which is like a uncivilized thing. Okay, yeah, literally uncivilized thing. Okay, yeah. Probably is this thing, if someone is asked to you, you're gonna do those things, you're gonna kind of like a something take that garbage and throw it to the recycle bin and something like that. But trust me, almost like only 10% of people who do that, almost like a 90% of people just throw their garbage in somewhere something. Okay, yeah. Which create lot of kind of like a something pollution, kind of like a something, the garbage kind of like a something, it's a lot of thing. Okay, yeah. If we wanted to clean our society, if we wanted to clean our environment and things like that, the initial step has to be taken from the people, from the citizen of the people. Okay, yeah. So usually is this thing, what I do is that whatever the things that I buy, okay, yeah, like basically the any processed food, any kind of like a packet or something like that. Okay, I usually throw all those things on the recycle bin. Okay, yeah. If I didn't really find any kind of like a something recycle bin anywhere, so by then I put kind of like a something that packet put into my kind of like a something in my jeans packet, and whenever I found this kind of like a something recycle bin, I threw that thing. Oh yeah, it is also really essential to kind of like a do the steps by on yourself. Okay, yeah. If you do those things, it kind of like a something started impact on the people, started impact on kind of like a something do good for the people, do good for the environment and things like that. All right, yeah, that is called sustainability. All right, yeah. So basically, our basic action is kind of like a something responsible for kind of like a something making the world better, making the kind of like a sustainability better, something like that. Okay, do you get it? All right, yeah. So what kind of like a some step should I supposed to do? Should I supposed to take? All right, yeah. So there are a couple of pointers are here. Let's just point out that. All right, yeah. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. All right, yeah. It's not really kind of like something hard to understand. All right, yeah. What's a kind of like something reduce? Okay, reduce means like that the whatever the waste that you are producing, make it like a little less. Okay, yeah. Example. Example is this thing that ki like when you went to the grocery store, okay, bring the bag with you. Okay, bring the kind of like something carry bag with you. Okay, yeah. So basically, it's this thing when there is a guy who is actually giving you the grocery and stuff like that, he will kind of like always give you in the plastic carry bag. Try to avoid it. Try to avoid the plastic bag. Try to avoid to give the plastic bag or take the plastic bag. No, just kind of like a something that ki you have this carry bag na. So basically, put all those grocery into the carry bag, and that's why you kind of like a not taking that plastic bag. It's kind of like a something reduce the kind of like a something is this thing. It's a very small step. Okay, yeah, but it add a kind of like a something very huge impact on the global thing. It's really essential. Okay, reduce the waste. Okay, if it's possible for you, try to do those things. Okay, yeah. Then reuse. Okay, yeah, reuse means like that whatever the things that you are using, you reuse that thing like a like basically whatever the waste that you are creating, like a basic example is this thing that ki like basically you have plastic bag. Okay, yeah, you have plastic bag. Okay, yeah. So what should you supposed to do? Like instead of throwing that plastic bag to the somewhere, try to use that plastic bag more and more. Okay, yeah, like basically in every situation, like use that plastic bag again and again. So when you use that thing, it kind of like only reduce the environmental thing and something like that. All right, yeah. And when there is something really like you have to throw that thing, so throw in to the recycle bin. Okay, that is called recycle. Okay, that is really essential. So first point is that key reuse, reduce, and recycle. Another is conserve energy. All right, yeah, that is really very essential thing. What's a conserve energy? Conserve energy means like saving energy. Example is this saying that ki, when you get out of your home or kind of like get out your room, like a turn off your AC, turn off your fan, something like that. Okay, yeah. Which is really essential by the way. Like basically you have money to pay the bills and everything. Okay, I'm not really kind of like saying this thing. You are not poor. You are poor. No, nothing really at all. It's actually for kind of like a something is this thing ki basically if you conserve the energy, if you conserve this kind of like electricity or kind of like a turn off the AC or turn off the fan and things like that, it kind of like a something add the little bit impact that you could not only save the money from your electricity bill, but as also is this thing that money will that energy will kind of like a something save. Like basically the for creating that electricity required so much amount, takes so much amount of like environmental impact, like it steam, it burn cools and things and something like that. If you started saving this thing by on your end, okay, just by on your end, okay, it kind of like a save lot of things. Okay, especially I'm talking about fans and AC, especially AC. Okay, yeah. Thank god, like a touch wood by the way, like basically we are from India and we are not using that much AC. All right, yeah. Basically this thing in metropolitan city you can see the people are using AC air condition, but besides metro city there are like a very less kind of like a some city or very less kind of like some people who could afford the kind of like a something really AC or something like that, which kind of like a save lot of energy. If I try to compare the European and European, like US and Europe, they use a lot. Okay, like AC they use a lot. So basically consumption of AC in India are very less. So we are really kind of like a touch wood, by the way. But yeah, we can save more, by the way, like just turn off. Okay, what about lights? Lights is kind of like a something, okay, like if you don't really turn off the light, that is also really fine, because lights are kind of like a something that mostly, okay, right now mostly people are using like a LED or CFL light, which is kind of like a consume far less energy, and it kind of like emits so much amount of light. So basically is this thing that if you just turn on the light, it's not even that impact. Okay, yeah, light is a kind of like a somebody taking very less amount of energy, so that is also really fine. All right, yeah. So this point is called kind of like a something conserve energy. All right, yeah. Now adopt the sustainability and eating habit. All right, yeah. Like what exactly is this thing? Like a sustainability and little habit. Like what exactly is this thing? All right, yeah. Um. Okay, yeah. So sustainability is not just mean about kind of like a something how do you supposed to save your planet, or kind of like a something how you global impact, or how you not create any kind of like a something pollution. No, yeah. This is all those things, by the way. But there are also one thing, okay, yeah, sustainability is also really essential to kind of like a something regarding about conserving some sort of food that we have. Okay, yeah, what do you mean by food that we have? All right, yeah. So basically, let me tell you one thing. Okay, yeah. Right now it's 2024. Okay, yeah. Till the age of this century means like that ki like a 20 like a like a 20 like a 21 two like a 2200. Okay, 2200, yeah, 2100. Okay, yeah. Yeah, 2100, yeah, sorry, 2100, yeah. Till the end of like a till the end of kind of like a something this century, 2100. Okay, yeah. We gonna face a kind of like a something very like a we have like a very big problem. Okay, what's the big problem? Okay, yeah. Till the end of century, we gonna face something really very big problem. What is the really big problem? A big problem is that the population of the kind of like a something spiking a lot, a really lot. Okay, till the end of this century we will gonna reach to the 10 billion people. Okay, 10 billion humans on the planet of the earth. So that means we just have to serve food for the 10 billion people. Okay, yeah. So for that particular thing we have to create that kind of like assembly food for 10 billion people. All right, yeah. So basically what exactly is this thing that key whatever the habit that you have, or whatever the kind of like eating habit that you just have to control it. Okay, I'm not saying that key like you shouldn't supposed to be eat. No, definitely is this thing whatever the thing that you wanted to eat you could eat. Okay, yeah. But try not to waste that particular things that you ate. Okay, yeah. uh, I also touch wood. Okay, because I'm belong to the India. Okay, yeah. Because in India we have kind of like a something represent food is a kind of like a something a god. Okay, yeah. And we try not to waste that thing. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing whatever the food that we have, or whatever the food that they offer, we actually kind of like a consume it all. We are not kind of like a something just like a like basically waste. No, we don't really waste that thing. Okay, yeah. Because in India we have this kind of like a assembly culture that we don't really waste the food that much. Yeah, we waste the food. Like basically I'm not gonna say that like we didn't really waste. No, we waste some sort of food. Like there are some sort of people who waste some sort of food, by the way. But still is this thing from the average point of perspective in India we have kind of like a something that cultural thing that we are not waste that particular food. Whatever the food that we really required, we just consume that food and that's it. If we want we just take it, if we don't want just not take it. And because of this thing mostly in Indian plates are kind of like something empty. Okay, they are not wasting that much amount of food. Okay, yeah. I am not really sure about the US and Europe. Maybe they are kind of like a. I'm not really sure. Okay, yeah. But from the point of perspective regarding about the like a like a like a perspective from the movies and web series and things like that, they waste a lot food regarding about stuff. But in India we don't really have that. Okay, so we don't really waste that much amount of food. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's also another point is that ki sustainable transportation choice. Okay, what's a sustainable transportation choice? Okay, transportation is a really essential thing to understand because it cause kind of like a something very bad impact on the global environment. Okay, yeah, like a transportation. Okay, yeah, like basically is this thing when we went to the one place to another place, it kind of like a create a lot of pollution. How do we supposed to create a lot of pollution? Does it like actually create like a, is it actually that impactful? All right, yeah, let's just understand this thing. Okay, yeah. So first of all is that key, like we are living in this world where we are actually driving kind of like something, some sort of bike or car or something like that, and mostly almost like a 70 to 80% of those cars are actually kind of like a consume fuel. Okay, petrol, diesel. Okay, there are so many. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, those are IC engine, those are IC like internal combustion engine are actually required fuel. Okay, petrol and engine. Okay, yeah, petrol and diesel and something like that. Okay, so that it could run. Okay, and basically while they are kind of like a something like a basically when the engine is started running, it create the pollution. Okay, yeah, it create pollution, it kind of like a exhaust some sort of like a particles on the environment, which is kind of like a something very harmful, like a CO2, carbon monoxide, which is really harmful. Okay, for the not only for the human health but as also for the environment too. Okay, yeah. And because of this thing, because of this carbon monoxide and CO2, which kind of like increase the temperature of the surface of the planet. Okay, yeah, because it kind of like a something, CO2 has a kind of like a something thing that it kind of like a trap the heat inside it. Okay, yeah. Oxygen is kind of like a emit that heat. Okay, yeah, but CO2 is kind of like a trap that heat inside of it. So whatever, it's a kind of like a something really not that good. Okay, yeah. So what should we supposed to do, what should we kind of like a something have sustainable transportation? Okay, yeah. First of all is that key, whatever the vehicle that you have, okay, use electric vehicle. Okay, yeah, probably. But still this is kind of like a something really required financial thing and something like that. So what kind of like a some things, the first thing that you should supposed to do right now? Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, when you want to transport, okay, when you want to go somewhere else, okay, yeah, take the public transportation. Okay, yeah. If it is, if you are living in the city, so probably is a, like a public transportation are available, bus, railways and auto rickshaws and stuff like that. Okay, which kind of like a something like something like that key, something really stop that kind of like a something that effective thing. Okay, like basically public transportation means like bus and railway, which like which is actually run on diesel and petrol engine, by the way, but still it carry more and more people at one people to one say one destination to another destination. So basically is this thing, the fuel that almost like a, like just an example is that there is a bus who is actually carrying almost like a 50 passenger. So basically if the bus is not exist, then 50 passenger take the car, it takes lot of it kind of like a create lot of pollution, as well as it consume lot of fuel too. But as compared to the public transport, it kind of like a create very less pollution and as also take very less consume fuel, which is really good for the environment and like a fuel economy and everything. So it is really essential. So if it is possible, then use the public transportation. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that use bicycle. Okay, yeah. Like a basically is this thing, if you wanted to go somewhere else and probably this place is kind of like a something very close to you. Okay, yeah. So you could use bicycle and things like that. Amsterdam is a kind of like a something city where kind of like these things are really implemented. Okay, yeah. And almost like a 70-80% of the transportation is actually covered by the bicycle, and which is really good, really great. It does not create any kind of like a some pollution, fuel and nothing really at all. It's a very really good thing. Okay, but in India, does like a we could apply that thing, like a does we kind of like a somebody went to the bicycle and stuff like that, like we can't. Okay, yeah, we can't do that because in a Netherlands, in Amsterdam, like a the average temperature is really good, really healthy, really like a always like almost like 7 8 9 degrees Celsius, or almost like a 12 or maybe 15 degrees Celsius, 16 degrees Celsius. Okay, in Amsterdam. So it kind of like a somebody always be cool to kind of like a somebody burn some sort of calories to like a drive the it's kind of like a somebody create the very healthy atmosphere to kind of like a drive the bicycle. Okay, but in India it's not. Okay, because the average temperature are here are almost like a 26 degree to 35, or maybe in the summer it will get 40 degree, 40 42 degree, which is like a so intense. Okay, yeah, like just forget the bicycle, you can't walk. Okay, yeah, literally that much heat are here. So important thing is that ki basically use public transport, like a bus and railways are kind of like a something very good thing. Okay, yeah, but if in your city the public transportation is not available, okay, like right now I'm living in such a city where public transportation is not available, like autos and rickshaws are available, but still it's like it doesn't really, it cost more than that. Okay, yeah, so in that particular situation what should you supposed to do is that ki, like use the bicycle. Okay, yeah, and as also another thing is that India is bitterly privileged regarding about using which kind of like a transportation vehicle. Okay, yeah, like in here most of the people are using two wheeler, like a basically bike or scooter or something like that, which kind of like a something not only consume less fuel but as also create very less amount of pollution, which is really help by the way. Okay, in US most of the people are carrying like a four-wheeler car. Okay, a car or kind of like a pickup truck, or they didn't really use that much bike, but in India we are actually using so much amount of bike. Okay, yeah, so which is kind of like a something very helpful for regarding about the fuel capacity, fuel consumption and creating pollution, which is really helpful. Okay, yeah, in US I don't know why they have this kind of like a something car culture, but like somehow at some point car culture is really good, but at some point this car culture is really not that good by the way. All right, yeah, so yeah, transportation, if you have, if you could kind of like afford the electric vehicle, use afford electric vehicle. Okay, yeah, another thing is that key use public transport. Okay, if you wanted to go somewhere else. Okay, if it not like if doesn't really have any kind of like a public transport, then use the bike. Okay, and basically in India almost like a 90% of the people are kind of like a using the bike a most. Okay, yeah, but what about kind of like a something most of the people are actually using the SUV, like basically India is actually consuming or buying a lot of SUVs. Yeah, I know, like in India most of people are actually buying the SUVs, and yes, but they are not using it in a daily drive. Okay, like very less people are actually using this car or SUV as a daily drive. Why? Let me tell you why. Because India is not really that kind of like a some city where has a big highway, big kind of like a 4 lane highway, 3 lane highway. No, we have this highway in kind of like a something very less. Okay, like a national highway and something like that. In city, if you wanted to go one place to another place through SUV, it takes so much amount of time. Okay, yeah, literally it's so much amount of time because roads are really narrow. You are actually blocking the so much traffic and things like that. So basically carrying the using the SUV in India, in Indian city. Okay, yeah, inside the city is kind of like something really not that good. So most of the people are actually using the scooters and bikes. Okay, yeah, they use SUV when they are actually going from one city to another city. In that particular situation, they actually using this car and SUVs and things like that. Okay, yeah, but for the kind of like a something transportation at like from city to city or kind of like a something inside the city, they are actually using like bikes and scooter, which is kind of like a something very helpful. I'm talking about average point of perspective, almost like a 70% of the people are usually using scooters. Okay, at 30% I might gonna use cars and SUV and things like that. All right, yeah. Conserve water. Okay, water is really essential. We have almost like a 2% of water that we could consume, we could drink. Okay, yeah, on the planet. Okay, yeah, on the planet. So whatever the water that you have, like a conserve the water. Okay, it's not really hard to understand the point. What should you supposed to do? What should you basically when you're doing toothbrush, like a turn off the tap. Okay, yeah, basically doing the shower, basically do not just kind of like waste so much amount of time on just taking the bath on shower. No, yeah, I know it felt really good, but trust me, it's not really that good as also. Okay, yeah, control your shower. Okay, consumption of shower and things like that. Okay, yeah, and basically is this thing, whenever you kind of like a something know that, or whenever you kind of like a find that there is a wastage of water, try to kind of like a something control that wastage of water. Or maybe if you could, yeah, you could do that, but if you can't, then I don't know. Okay, but important thing is that like a basically save the water. Okay, yeah, Sustainable brands and product. Okay, that is also really good. Sustainable brands and product means like that eco-friendly product. Okay, what's the eco-friendly product? um, in 2024, okay, iPhone is launched, iPhone 15 Pro. Okay, yeah. And this is the first iPhone who is actually kind of like a something zero carbon emission product. Okay, what's a zero carbon emission product? I'm not really sure what is actually the tagline for that. Okay, yeah. So basically the what the company says that the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 plus, 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. Okay, yeah, these are the product are kind of like a something something it does not consume or does not kind of like a create any kind of like a something pollution while manufacturing this kind of like a something unit. Okay, so basically is this thing, this product does like a, if I wanted to create this product like a, this product doesn't really create any kind of like a something carbon emission while creating this product. Okay, yeah, that is called zero carbon neutrality. Okay, iPhone 15 they started this from the iPhone 15, and right now they are actually continue this thing from iPhone 16 too. Okay, yeah, which is really helpful for the kind of like a something is this thing, but still they charge a lot. Oh yeah, so yeah, green your home and office. Okay, like basically whatever the surrounding that you are living, like plant some sort of trees and something like that, which is really helpful. Support renewable resources and sustainable practice. Example is this thing that ke, basically bought the solar water heater at your home, solar water heater, or kind of like a like install the solar panel. Okay, which is not actually save your electricity, but as also kind of like in the winter it kind of like a giving you a very hot water. Okay, so you don't have to heat and everything, which kind of like somebody use a very multiple thing. Okay, so yeah, practice minimalism, like yeah, these are kind of involve the local sustainability. Yeah, so these are kind of like a something way so that I could kind of like a something live more sustainability. Okay, yeah, these are kind of like a step that you should supposed to do to take live more as a sustainability, live kind of like a something little less harm to the environment and things like that. All right, yeah, so this is it, I should supposed to be in here.